Hi guys, welcome to another Movie Crew Review. Today, we start a new series, Classic Movie Reviews. Today we're taking it all the way back to 2004 with Shaun of the Dead.
The movie stars Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and Kate Ashfield.
So the film is the first of the Cornetto trilogy, and it stars Shaun as just an average everyday guy who finds himself trying to get his girlfriend back, but at the same time enthralled in a zombie apocalypse that he must help him and her friends get through along with his loser friend. So let's get into the review, guys. I think if you're okay with it, I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
So one of the first things, it's more of a fun fact than it is I guess anything to do with this film exactly, is the Cornetto trilogy is actually a parody of the Color trilogy from the French films of the late 1990s, the red, white and blue trilogy that were psychological films. So that's just a little fun fact out there for you. But let's get into the specifics on this film. It's a zombie film, but it's more akin to shows like Breaking Bad in the terms of it's an average guy in a short time frame with a simple premise. We don't have some kind of Rambo, Jean-Claude Van Damme, one guy that's gonna take down 5,000 zombies. It's not one of those kind of films. It's something that when you watch it, you go, oh yeah, that seems about right to how somebody is going to handle that situation. It's in England, which is nice and refreshing compared to the American settings of a lot of zombie films. And I mean, the violence is done quite effectively. It's not overly over the top. It looks realistic, and the zombies look quite good doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's got good cast for the time that the film was shot in. So you've got Bill Nye, you've got a bunch of different people from Little Britain and that were famous at the time. Nick Frost really steals the show in this film, along with Simon Pegg. They're a great comedy duo. And I mean, they've stood the test of time in films like Hot Fuzz and The World's End and Paul and heaps of other films. I really enjoyed the start scene where you see Simon Pegg go down to the convenience store, buy something and walk back, because they re-show that scene like a shot for shot after the zombies come, and it's done technically really well. You can't really tell. The trip is the same that he does in the scene, and it flows really nicely. It's very funny, and I think Nick Frost brings a lot to that comedy aspect.
Love it, yeah.
The girlfriend, Kate, played by Kate Ashfield, she does quite a good job of being a realistic in terms of a girlfriend who's at her wit's end because of the Nick Frost character, and it has a good resolution at the end of the film in regards to that. But it's quite an interesting premise for a film, but the actual overall film has a lot of quite fast cuts that give an action-packed sense to even scenes that aren't action-packed, like when they're making breakfast. You see a lot of fast cuts with toast and milk and the fridge, and it just feels like a lot more punchy than what a normal film would. So, action, comedy, zombies, it's got all three, and I really enjoyed it. So,
You gonna go? Yeah, I'll go. Yeah. So this is my first time viewing this movie, and I was pleasantly surprised with the whole, how it was shot, like you said, and how the story went on, and it definitely is a comedy, and I really liked it. It really holds up. Even the graphics and just the way the blood is and stuff like that. All the action, it all holds up. It doesn't look dated. Only thing is the technology, like the phones, but you just brush past that. It's not a big issue. Like, it suits the movie, suits the time. And yeah, it was very entertaining. I laughed a lot. And,
You did, yeah.
and I don't really watch horrors, and this was classified as a horror, which I'm happy with. because it wasn't too scary. But nah, I really enjoyed it.
Alright. Yep. So this is my first time watching in the cinema. Yep. I watched it at least 30 times, but it was so refreshing to watch in a cinema. The scenes like at the end, I was on the edge of my seat. Never felt before even when the first time I watched it. Okay, so I love this duo, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. The Cornetto trilogy, they are brilliant. I've loved them. I love all three movies, and yeah, Hot Fuzz might be my favorite, but that's a different case. Okay, Edgar Wright is I have to say, top 5 favorite directors. Every movie he has made, at least is a 9 for me. And this was the first movie I watched of his, and I was just a fan of his. He added his movies as well. So, like John mentioned, he uses that fast cut, and he uses in other movies as well. So this is his own style. When you have those great directors like David Fincher, Tarantino, and then you have this guy comes in and he made a TV show, Spaced. If you guys never watched it, it's amazing. It got Simon Pegg as well. And somehow he brings something new onto the table. He brings editing which was never done before, and somehow he makes it work. A lot of critics, I think, didn't like his style in the beginning because they said it's choppy, it doesn't work, it's too flashy, but it works perfectly. I think after 20 years, this movie is not dated at all, like Cameron said. Yeah, technology, it's set in 2004, so it's not gonna change. The phones would be there, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay. Simon Pegg, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated actors. He's so good at comedy, but the emotional scenes, he stole the show. He was so good. The movie came out 20 years, so we'll talk spoilers here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it by now,
What are you doing then? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, Cameron, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I watched it now. I'm not part of that.
Yeah, so the scene where Shaun's mom, she's about to become a zombie, and that scene is so good. Like, you feel for everyone there. You have one person, you kind of hate it. The guy looks like Harry Potter, David, and you get his point too, because he wants everyone to be safe, but you hate him as well because he wants Shaun's mom to be dead. And that scene is so intense, and I just want him to be dead first, then okay, you have to take care of the mother. It's just an amazing scene. Every scene has a callback of some sort. You have a scene in the beginning, Nick Frost farts, and at the end, they do that. The convenience store has a instant callback.
One of that funny lines is at the start their roommate is like, "Oh well, fuck a doodle do."
Yeah, fuck a doodle.
And then at the end he comes back as a zombie and he just fuck a doodle do.
Yeah,
great line.
Great line. And then they're playing the video game. The play 2 has entered. At the end, that has a callback to play 2 has entered. When Nick Frost, a character Ed, is playing the game, and Simon Pegg is saying shoot over there, reload, and when they go to the Winchester, by the way, this is the greatest plan ever. And when they go to the Winchester, they do the same. So Simon Pegg is shooting this time, and Nick Frost is saying. So literally everything has a callback, and somehow it makes sense. It's not just included in the movie, but it is there, but just not for the callback, but actually makes a lot of sense when it's included in the movie.
Definitely not cheesy at all.
Yeah, not a cheesy. It's not on your nose at all. Okay, enough of me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as a film goes, just in general, it's well written. It's an hour 41 minutes, and the time flies by for me. I didn't feel it go at all. It started and it finished. That's how well everything flowed. The story was good because it was condensed, I think, because you're just seeing it over the period of like a day.
Yeah.
And we've only got a few characters to worry about. Even when you were talking about the emotional aspect, he has a stepfather played by Bill Nye, and you can see that they don't go together. They're clashing. But when he gets infected and he's gonna die, they have that kind of emotional ending.
Yeah.
That was really nice and sweet. And there's still the comedy aspect after it, which is done really well. And I think it's really hard to do an emotional and then comedic scene and have them both hit well.
Yeah, I can agree to that. Because, like, when it happens, usually in movies, it will feel so out of place or so random and you'll go, why would they do that?
Yeah.
But in this movie, it just fits so well. Like, they do that multiple times.
Yeah.
They hit you with the hard emotion and then straight after is something comedic. Maybe not necessarily a joke or something like that, but it's still, it takes the emotional, the heaviness out of it straight back and you go back into the comedy of the movie.
Yeah, but when they hit you with a comedy, it doesn't actually take you out of the movie. It's somehow, the tone persists, both tones, the emotional tone and the comedic tone. So
it's a really well flowed together.
Yeah.
There was nothing out of place. There was nothing out of place in that film that I would say that was wrong. Everything was pretty much perfect. In my opinion. Everything just, it flowed well. The story's really good, really simple, and just made a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I think Edgar Wright's earlier works, especially based in England, with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, they really hit well. Not saying anything about his like later works and all those films. I'm just saying when, you know, you're at the basics, real simple, it just lasts forever, and it is a really good film, you know.
Yeah. All right, guys, time for the score. Moon, how many cornettos are you giving it out of 10?
10 cornettos.
10?
There is no way I'm going any down. This
10?
Yep.
All right. John, how many cornettos?
9.5 cornettos out of 10.
And I'll give it solid 8.5 cornettos out of 10. All right, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, and we'll see you on the next classic movie review. Ciao.